Hey guys, today's video is going to be a little bit brief, but I think it's valuable. This is AIDS. By which I mean this is Automated Improved Dominions Starts, which is a new map generator, just recently came out, I believe, by Nuke. The U has an umlaut, so it's Nuke, I guess, but I can't pronounce that properly. It's been a long time since I studied my German. In any case, this is essentially, you may have noticed that the maps in some games look different. So we have the default Dominions map generator. Everybody who plays Dominions knows what that looks like. You also have Cartographic Revision, which is a map generator that generates maps with a very distinctive look of their own, much brighter colors. I'm trying to remember what games were played on that. Yet Again Onto the Breach is currently being played on a Cartographic Revision map. Layer Cake back in the day was played on a Cartographic Revision map. There's several games I've played have been on CartRev maps, just because in some ways they're better than the default map generator. Not always. In any case, and there are some significant problems with CartRev. Like, for example, it tends to generate big clusters of farms altogether, which give the people who take them a lot of income for no real reason. So this, Automated Improved Dominion Starts, is a new map generator with some other features that I think are really cool. For one thing, like, Cartographic Revision only supports certain numbers of players. Automated Improved supports any number of players between 2 and 20, so you can generate games for odd numbers of players. CartRev, I think, only had like 8, it was like 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20, something like that. So, more options there. You can actually have nations of, I believe, different ages. Yeah, you can have nations of different ages starting on the same map. So you can go down through here and you can place, middle age, early age, late age nations all on the same maps here. There's a Disciples option, which lets you decide what team everyone will be on and where those team members will be. I think this looks like it's only setting 2 on a single team. I haven't played around with this all that much, so I wonder if that's possible to change. You can cluster Disciples, and you can cluster Water Nations. This is actually a really nice feature, because it means that instead of, like, with Cartographic Revision loves to generate separate lakes. If you check this box, Water Nations will not generate in separate lakes. They will generate all together in and of themselves. You also have a bunch of advanced settings. So you can use advanced world generator settings, and this is very cool, and this is something Cartographic Revision never had. This is a quality, like the default map generator has this quality where you can affect different percentages of what different provinces will be. But it's very unintuitive in the default map generator. In this, it's very clear, very intuitive. So these total up to 80% or less, so basically anything you don't set here is going to end up being a plain. It's just a default type of province. And I can change this to whatever setting I want, as long as the mins are lower than the maxes, or equal. And it will give me a percentage of special terrain types, everything else will be plains. Large and small population modifiers. Connections, you can have roads which speed up movement speed. You can have bridged rivers, which allows connections between provinces otherwise separated by rivers. Mountains, mountain passes, all of that stuff. So based on the number of connections rather than the number of provinces there. So if we generate a map with this, we can also change the season, which I think changes it from summer to winter. But if we're generating a 16-player early age map, you can set all those settings, hit generate new map. Alright, so that took, I'll have cut that, but that took about 2 minutes. And you can see here, it is a little bit laggy because the art is very different, and it's very kind of cool. This also shows all of the connections, so I can zoom out, and that shows the whole map right there. So there's a kind of a raggedy-ass edged version, and over here there is a solid version, I guess. Those don't look quite the same. Why don't those look quite the same? They're cut off differently. So this version, that square, you can see those little red lines? When I pull the thing, yeah, those red lines, so that's cut off a little bit and doesn't have those outer provinces. And so this map shows all of the connections between all of the provinces on the map, and you can edit them individually. By right-clicking on a province, you can edit what type of terrain it is, whether it's large or small, whether it's cold or warm. You can even tell it where you want potential thrones to be. And you can use this to, if you see something that you think might need to be adjusted, you can just adjust it manually, which is definitely a feature that's very, very handy. Like, for instance, over here I'm like, okay, so we have like a mountain range here. So that's Highlands, 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 highlands. And then if we zoom in, it is laggy, but there's a lot of data that it's crunching here. We can see that also these are blocked by mountain ranges. So this connection is a mountain with no pass. This connection is normal. That connection right there is a bridged river, so it can be crossed. That connection is a river with no bridge. So there's a lot of data here. There's a lot of control over your map, which I think is very, very cool. This is the kind of things that Dominions needs, because basically, if you're playing Dominions, you've got to have this kind of control in order to make sure that your game won't just be kind of weirdly affected by random chance. I mean, obviously, there's always going to be random chance, but I don't know. AIDS generator, I know the name is in fact AIDS. It's cancerous, I'm sure. But the name notwithstanding, this map generator is much more balanced, in my opinion, so far, than most other map generators. This is the map generator that's being used in Accidental Ascension 4. And as you can see here, it does things like it has an anti-clustering algorithm, so it prevents huge blocks of farms. You can see the farms are spread out pretty well. There's still a few next to each other, but those can be handled. The players are spread out fairly equidistantly, and so are the thrones. So right down here we have Sitis, we've got a throne 2 provinces away, and we've got Tianxi. It's actually technically 3 connections away because of the way the terrain ended up, but you can go down 1, 2, 3. We've got Pangaea down here in the forest, so the appropriate terrain type. Thrones, that is... I can't barely read that. That's one problem I'm having, the purple text. Vanheim, Bomoria, Throne, Kalem. So they're all spread out fairly well. Nobody's crunched up right next to each other. Pray. Nobody is outside of... Everybody has terrain access that they need. Terrain is fairly equivalently spaced, though we do have long forests and mountain ranges and such that make sense, but aren't super, super unbalancing. So overall, I'm very impressed with the automated improved starts. There's a lot of technical stuff that Nuke has told me that I don't fully know why or how it happens, but like, you know, the disciple support is apparently something that Cartographic Revision had a real problem with, so disciples will now be placed next to each other. Certain nations that have terrain requirements for their national spells or such have hard-coded that they will have one of those provinces nearby. So caves in the cap ring, wastelands in the cap ring, that's the thematic starts option, which is the nation-themed starts right there. So that can be disabled, but I think I'll leave it on. Clustered water nation starts I talked about. One thing that Nuke listed as a big change that I haven't paid this much attention to the terrain rules, but it says that mountain connections don't apply the mountain province modifier to provinces in this map gen. So, basically, mountains have reduced income, mountain provinces, but you can have border mountains here without this province actually being mountains. So this is a plain province. It has mountains around it, but it is not a mountain province in and of itself. Cartographic Revision, I think, does that. I think would apply the mountain designator here to both of these provinces, which would reduce their income. So, Automated Improved doesn't do that. And, yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff. Plus the fact that he has, like, little sprites that help guide you to know what provinces are. Like, for example, this province right here has a couple of houses on it. And it is a large plains. So it's a large province, which means it has more population, more income, and it has those, you know, those house sprites on it. This one has boats on it, and yep, that's a large sea province. So these little sprites kind of tell you what's big, so that you have an idea, looking at the map, of what might be more valuable. This is a large province. It's also a wasteland, however, so still not going to be super valuable. But hey, the effort is there. And there are some terrain mixtures that I think don't normally occur. He mentions cave forests, sea coral reef farms, sea caves, hot and cold wastelands. So you can have wastelands that are hotter or colder than normal. You can have farms in the ocean and caves in the ocean. I had noticed that before. There was a province nearby me in Accidental Ascension 4. There was a sea cave. Yep, okay, so this is a sea forest. Let me see if there are any sea farms on this randomly generated map. I don't think so. What's that? That might be... Yep, that's a sea cave. There you go. And it's a large sea cave, too. And then these are, I think, just regular sea provinces, and they're actually at the bottom of the map, technically. In any case, I think this is really neat. And I think this kind of development and improvement and community integration is really what Dominions 5 needs to keep evolving and keep, stay fresh, stay interesting as time goes on. Big ups to Nuke for doing this. This is on itch.io. It is downloadable for free. You can also donate for it, and I would encourage people to do so. Just help a brother out and to encourage him, because let's be honest, this kind of thing takes a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of effort, and it deserves to be encouraged. It really, really does. So thanks for watching. All you Dominions players out there, I hope you download this, have some fun with it, play around with it, make some cool maps. I'd like to see more of this. I think more map diversity is a great idea in the game. Thanks so much again to Nuke for making it, and thanks to all of you for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one.